What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ZBCN today. Zebek, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. This thing just keeps running. You're up 28% yesterday, up 30% the day before. Crazy. At 0068 right now. Unbelievable. Literally, it's unbelievable. From a high to a low, you've literally just gone through everything. You're not showing respect on any of these fibs, and it's crazy. You showed a little bit of respect here, and then after that, it's just straight disrespect all the way to the upside. I mean, at this rate, you're going to who cares? You're going up all the way to 5 cents. I don't know, man. You're unstoppable, and that's 5 cents will probably happen in time. You will get there. I don't think you're actually just going to run up there right now. I mean, who knows? Maybe, but this thing's been on a straight tear, man. If we look at ZBCN here, let's see. Zebek Network, you're at $549 million. When you were at the lows, you were worth, literally at that rate, you would have been worth basically $50 million, $60 million, somewhere in that range, right? Because it's done a 10x overall. You've literally done a 10x from April 23rd until today. You've done a 907% growth. That's a 10x, man. This thing went from being worth half of $100 million to $543 million in a month's time. That's crazy. So, screw me for getting it wrong, calling for the high here, thinking that it was going to go lower. I mean, we did, and calling for the high here actually at the 188.6200 area. I was expecting that the price would move down here. Yesterday, as we moved up, I was thinking that we would also get that resistance in the 188.6200 level and move down. The target areas of 0034 and below are still on the table. They still are on the table. But I will say, if we continue to progress here, if we do see the price go up to about 1 cent or somewhere around here, just above this 2272, the possibility of seeing that does diminish, because going down to that low would be something on the lines of like a 60% drop. And it can happen. Crypto's volatile, and even in these very bullish runs, especially in these super bullish runs, you can get some very heavy drops. I've seen it happen plenty of times. 60% is still pretty intense. It's on like the maximum side of that scale. 50% sounds more reasonable, and even that's a little bit below 50%, right? 00428. So at this point in time, regardless of where we find resistance, whether it's here, whether it's just above the 2272, I would anticipate that we interact with the 1618 for support. We come back and we find support on that. I would expect that. But that's not given, right? That's nothing's ever given. Nothing's always promised, or not everything is promised. If we're looking at this here, it's very possible we could go all the way up to the 2618, and regardless of what may or may not happen, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I'm happy watching this thing go up. I'm very happy for all the people that are involved, that are buying, that are holding, and just making money on this thing day after day. It's pretty awesome to watch. But I am a bit curious, let's just say curious, to see how this is going to resolve itself, because I am expecting there to be some kind of an intense sell-off pretty soon. I mean, the more that you grow, 10x in a month's time, $500.5 million in market cap value, you're reaching, I mean, you're basically at unsustainable growth velocity right now. And with that kind of stuff, you see some very dramatic pullbacks. And these dramatic pullbacks happen fast, and then you move slowly sideways and downward for a long time, and then you finally recover, right? You got to shake out all the weak hands, all the people who are just tourists, and that is coming. Unfortunately, the higher you climb, the higher up these lows will be too. So at one point, we were considering 003 to be a target. It's still possible, but less likely. 0034 was a very anticipated target as of yesterday. But now I would say that it's a lot less likely. It's very, very unlikely, in fact, that we see 0034. There's still a possibility, but right now the most likely target is 004288. That would be the expectation that I have. So regardless if we go here, it's actually very common to go from your 2272 down to your 1618, from your 2618 down to your 1618. It's very, very common to see that kind of behavior. So especially with this unprecedented, just crazy growth, that's what I would expect. Even in the most bullish cryptos, there are 30% pullbacks, 50% pullbacks, 60% pullbacks. It's even in a bull market, right? Like, let's look at this real quick. Let's look at Solana last cycle. Solana was a beast of its own last cycle, right? Even this thing, whenever it went up, at these fantastic paces, we saw, let's see, from a low to a high, basically did a 10x right there. You basically did a 10x, but that was in a lot more time than ZBCN. Even here, you dropped a whopping 80%, right? You pumped more from there, from a low to a high overall. I mean, you saw that was a 57x, just crazy, crazy growth. And at that rate, I actually wonder what was your market cap back then. Let's see, just for comparison's sake, let's just take a walk through the park here, just to compare it. Maybe ZBCN is going to be the next Solana. I don't know, guys. At this rate, this is getting crazy. Let's see. Go to all, or in log, right? Log like this. and this was back in March 2021, started in December 2020, right? November, December 2020. So your market cap at this, at this price was 67 million. Very comparable actually to where ZBCN started. And then it ran all the way, dude, it ran all the way to $10 billion. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen for ZBCN, but if this thing is comparable to Solana or it becomes like the Solana of this cycle, maybe you keep running. And at that rate, there still will be a massive pullback. It's still going to happen, right? And just like I said it would happen. It's a dramatic drop, a very dramatic drop, 67%, and then you move sideways for a long while, and then you correct. But if you keep running, that 67% drop might be higher than any low that you could have sold at along the way. So yes, while it's an intense drop and yes, it's inevitable, there's no guarantees, man. But if we're looking at Solana again, just actually a good comparison here because it did start from a very similar market cap. In all fairness, high to low here, what you did was you ran all the way up to your 2618, and then you found support at your 1886, and then you ran higher, right? You did stop a little bit at your golden ratio here. Here you're stopping at your golden ratio a little bit. I can't believe I'm comparing this thing to Solana right now. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Maybe it's not crazy. Maybe it's very deserving. I don't know. I mean, it's very deserving by this metric, but high to low here, same kind of idea. From a low to a high, overall growth, that'd be about an 18x in a very, very short amount of time if you were to run all the way up to the 2618. But even there, you know, Solana went from its 2618 down to its 1886. That's common too. You could even find support at the 2272, but with this kind of growth, you would expect a more significant drop. Something like that would happen. Let's see. And it would take us to lower prices than we are now. That'd be a 54% drop. That's fine. You could see something like that. But if we were to go to the 1618, it is fairly common to go from the 2618 to the 1618 or the 1886-200. That'd be a 63% drop, and I could see that, right? That coincides more with this drop here, which was, in fact, from a high to a low. That was 67% of a drop. So it really wouldn't surprise me. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I don't care how high you go at this point. 0068, go up to 1.3 cents. Do it. Double from here. You will very likely still pull back to 004288, which at the least from this current price, let alone from whatever high it might achieve. Maybe today is the high. Maybe it has higher to go. I think at this point it does have higher to go. At the least from here, I would expect you to drop about 40%, over 35%. So patience, my friends. There will be an opportunity to get in. Something big's going on here. 4-hour RSI looks very bullish. I'm expecting what will happen is you might move up a little bit, pull back. This is the high, just like I thought this was the high, but this time it's not going to be the high. The 4-hour RSI is going to pull back. You're going to pull back up, get some bearish divergence, get another higher high in there, lower high there, bearish divergence to form, and then you'll stop. You'll probably stop right around 1 cent. If not 1 cent, then where are you going to go? What is it, 1.3 cents? 1.3 cents. Yeah, if you don't stop at 1 cent, you'll stop at 1.3 cents, okay? And the reason why I think 1 cent, if not, and maybe even just below 1 cent, I should say, but just above the 2272 here, which is just below 1 cent, or 1.3 cents, somewhere in this area, that's where you're going to go ultimately. I think that'll give you enough drive on your daily time frame to get some bearish divergence formed there, or a double top. And then also same thing with your 4-hour time frame. You'd be able to pull back a little bit, find some turbulence here, find some support maybe at that prior area of resistance, and then continue to run. I do think that's going to happen. Looking at the 1-hour RSI, your 1-hour RSI is super bullish, you guys. You do have some bearish divergence here, but it's not confirmed until you have a 1-hour close red. If you do get that red candle, or even if you move up a little bit from here, I would expect some kind of a pullback. Again, maybe down to 0053. If not 0053, maybe 0058 holds, somewhere in that area though. And then you continue your run. This will be, I would think, the last run. I mean, you can only go so high without stopping, man. But if this thing's the next best thing since sliced bread, it really could go up to, I mean, we've seen some phenomenal growth, right? Solana went from, at the lowest here, 65 million to $10 billion in basically one fell swoop. That's what this move was here, right here. That's what this was. $60 million to $10 billion, one fell swoop. Just crazy growth. This kind of stuff happens in crypto. And if you've got a winner, if you've got something that's comparable to these winners, which I would say at this point it kind of is, these are the ones that you don't play with. Even if, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I've said this a couple of times on our way up, even if you're like me and you're convinced that it's going to go down, I'm not advocating anybody sell, right? You don't want to sell because if you sell, you never know if it keeps going up, right? And if you have a winner, you don't. These are the kind of things that you're in crypto for. So you don't want to sell. You just want to add to it. Me saying that the price is going to go back, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it seemed like a very good area to sell here. It worked out for a time, but that wasn't the drop that we were expecting, right? it's not a good idea to sell your winners because you never know whenever they could just keep winning. This is crypto. This kind of stuff happens. Defying gravity happens, and this is why you're here. So you never want to sell your winners. You never want to replace them. You want to add to them, if anything, but you don't want to add to it. I wouldn't add to it here. I'd wait for it to pull back before I added any. And I am thinking about adding some, but probably not at these prices, right? Below half a cent at the least. But I got nothing else to say. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. At this rate, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we found some turbulence relatively soon, but I think you have a little bit higher to go. Yeah, just a little bit higher to go. 1 cent is probably where you're going to go. You haven't really respected any of these extensions here, so it is possible you could stop in the random zone of nothingness, but I would think you press on to your 2272 and likely you go just above there. What's just above there? 1 cent. If you don't stop there, the 2618 would surely hold you down, I would think, at 1.3 cents. And even if you go all the way up there, we've made a sensible argument as to why 004288 will be the target for support, for the pullback. It's the target now, it'll be the target then. And if we stop here, I guess there's a possibility where 0034 could still be a target as well. But if we continue going higher, like I think, then this would very clearly be the area to find support at the 1618 there. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Can't get them all right. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But hopefully we can get on a correct note with this thing one way or another. Anyways, take care. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.